Get away from her, you bitch!
Oh, shut up, you tart!
Who disrupts my coronation?
Get to the chopper!
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Hun Year Geek is Showing. I am that bitch, Calista Valentine. Joining me, as always, is the random man without a plan, the random man guy, JB.
Hello.
How you doing then, honey?
Yeah, good, Tart. Yourself?
Not too bad, not too bad. Thank you very much. Had some very good news over the weekend, so
I know.
I'm all happy. So yeah, there's that. How have you been?
Good. Went out with the adjudicator last night. Had a lovely time.
Oh,
So yeah, I'm good actually. Very mellow, very chilled.
the
No
JV
plans.
train, it does. I keep rolling down them tracks. It does.
It does. I did have a gig this weekend, so of course, what did I do last night? We went to watch a band.
As you do, as you do.
Yeah.
But moving swiftly on with tonight's episode, we're going to jump into the shout outs. And this week we have just one from the mouth of the Southwest Derbyshire, Mr. Jimmy Lee Clifford.
Oh,
From 1 to 100. Damn it, that was a big comment section. Yeah. When editing the episode, I didn't actually realize how long that comment section was. The comment doing the shout out section was almost as long as the subject itself for that episode. So it was like, damn, we had a lot to respond to. But we don't say that in a negative way.
we're not moaning.
No, we're not moaning. We say that in the most positive way possible. It's like, we love having a good, chunky, meaty comment section to really get into. And the last week with Tony's
Chunky
contribution, just it you, with Tony's contributions, JK's contributions, and Jimmy Lee's contributions last week, we had a lot to talk about during the shout outs bit. So, but moving swiftly onwards.
Where are you, JK? Hey.
I thought you liked us.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. Jimmy Lee says, from 1 to 100, damn it, that comment section. Damn it, that was a big comment section. As expected with the picks, just remembered the thought of Labyrinth with and Calista or Violet may reconsider. Tom Hiddleston. Still no for Labyrinth remake. You know, in all honesty, I don't care who you cast. I still would just want the Bowie version. Sorry. As good as an actor you could put in that role, the film's untouchable. You know.
It is.
Thanks, Guy, and glad you're back.
No.
TV filters, another free idea brought to you by Calico. Honestly, love this idea. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking that was kind of an off the cuff comment that I made about like filters on TV screens and stuff like that. But the more I thought about it over the week, I was like, do you know what? If you could make like an app or something for smartphones, the way you could do that, you can flick through different filters. And you could watch like modern day films in black and white, like as they would have been shot way back when. And I think that would be nice little money earner, that one. So, hey, someone take credit for that idea. Just remember where it came from, yeah?
Yeah.
I like how you spell it Halloween, not Halloween. What is
Halloween.
that? Halloween, is that where Master Chief runs around up to the grunts and goes, trick or treat, or shoot you in the fucking face? Oh, fucking Halo. Anyway, I like Halloween more now than as a child. We didn't do this at my household as a child. Then you were robbed of a childhood. I'm sorry, but you were. I didn't go trick-or-treating till I was a teen. Well, you've got a son. Go out and fucking do it now. You've got no excuses anymore. Live vicariously through your child. Take them trick-or-treating and just
Well, not now because Halloween's over. You just get
No,
told
but
piss off.
next year. Anyway, unfortunately, missed the horror films as a result. Again, I see Violet correcting that. She will. You're in for a bad time when she gets her quite literal hooks into you. You are not coming out of it unscathed, I'm afraid. Yeah, yeah.
I'm saying nothing to that.
Quote Pinhead, down the dark decades of your suffering, this will seem like a memory of heaven. That was a little note to Jimmy Lee from Violet.
There you go.
If there was a film, it'd be something like Scary Movie or Seven, Hannibal, Red Dragon. Again, explains my psychological thriller interest. The Exception, Event Horizon, sci-fi check, thriller check. Sam Neill as a psychopath check. I love this film. Yes, Event Horizon for me is basically Hellraiser in space, but a better version of Hellraiser in space than what we got with Hellraiser Bloodline. Although that's a misunderstood classic. We have talked about that on this show before. Feel free to go back through the archives. There's an episode where we talked all about Hellraiser.
There is.
But yeah, that is it for the shout-outs this week.
Awesome.
Yes, so I suppose we should jump on to the next section, which is the question that has been asked from father to son, mother to daughter, sheep to pig, cow to chicken, fireman to policeman, throughout the ages. What you been watching, mate?
Well, what have I been watching? I've been carrying on with the Arrow binge. Boom. And it's been fucking marvellous, it's got to be said.
Yes.
I forgot what a quality show that was. So it's nice to be reminded.
I am kind of looking forward to doing a rewatch of that show now that I've finally finished them, their Winchester Boys.
Not your bit yet. Still my turn. Fuck off.
All right. Continue.
Yes. On a far, far more geekier scale, I've been watching the YouTube channel of that there company called Gibson Guitars.
Ah.
They've got a really, really good YouTube channel. And obviously for the non-musical audience out there, Gibson Guitars are an iconic American guitar brand.
Yes, they are.
It's the one Slash uses. Okay, if you're not musical.
I know that. I am that musically inclined that I do know of Gibson, and I do know the famous people that use Gibsons.
I know. I was talking about the audience. Silly.
I know, but not everyone in the audience is as intelligent as us. I mean, Jimmy Lee watches this show for fuck's sake.
Well, true, there is that.
So, love you, really.
I'll send aloe vera. Anyway, so yeah, that's been rather marvelous this week. So yeah, I've been enjoying that.
Fair enough.
Geeking out.
Good. My turn now.
Your turn now.
Well, yes, as I was saying, I finally finished my watch through of them, their Winchester Boys, and I am not emotionally prepared. I'm not emotionally prepared to talk about that right now because that's
because you're a big ball of hormones.
As I said to one of my friends about it, right, the last time I cried over a show like that was when
What's the tank engine?
Was Buffy the Vampire Slayer season 5 when Buffy dies for the second time. That whole ending, the speech when you see Spike break down and start crying and everything, that whole ending, that made me cry for about 20 minutes. The ending, and for me, when I say the ending of Supernatural, for me it was the final 3 episodes, not just the final one. Those last 3 episodes was just punch after punch after punch.
Oh, someone is nodding in the background.
I cried, both me and my daughter, because we watched it together on Halloween night. Right, we finished watching this on Halloween night. Both of us were in floods of tears by the absolute end of it. It was at the point where I was sat there, I couldn't even talk afterwards. I was trying to say to my daughter, "Are you okay?" I'm just like, broken in some kind of the best way possible because it was just anyway, as we're saying, with you watching Arrow, I'd love to. I'm waiting to get into a rewatch of it because the last time I watched it was actually the first time I watched it when it was originally airing on Sky. So for me, I watched it on a weekly format. So when I try to think back of like early episodes of season 1, it's very hazy.
Yeah, there was a lot of surprises. There was things that myself and Sandy were like, well, that didn't happen this early, did it?
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to a rewatch. I think that's going to take the place of Supernatural now that I've finished that. Yeah. But other than that,
how are you going to do that then? It's on ITVX.
What, Arrow?
Yeah.
On Prime.
Is it?
All 8 seasons are on Prime right now.
Well, there you go then. Cool.
There you go. But other than that, I've only really watched, because obviously Halloween I got caught up with Supernatural. I watched a little bit of Big Bang after that, sort of as a little comedy.
Of course you did.
When my daughter was here, we needed a palate cleanser and something to lighten our mood. The one thing I will say that I did watch twice with Supernatural was the Scooby-Doo episode.
Yeah.
Supernatural. I'd heard about it. I kind of knew it had happened. It was a thing that they did a crossover episode. I knew all about it. But to finally see it, I was like, oh my God, this is just so fucking stupid, but works so perfectly.
Yeah.
You know, the Scooby Gang having a mental breakdown, Fred's cracking his head on a tree like, my entire life has been a lie. It's just like, oh shit, they broke them. They broke the Scooby Gang. Oh crap. But yeah, other than that, I've not really watched too much. So, but now is the week and the time to get into watching new stuff because I got to the end of the road.
You did.
Finally. But more on that later in the season.
Yes. And you know what's coming in a scant, how many days now? Where are we up to? 9 days. Cobra Kai.
That is another one that I need to catch up with. I watched the first 2 episodes. I think I watched the first 2. I need to get Winchesters. They distracted me. I mean, as cool as Danny LaRusso is, he's
no. I thought you were going to say Danny LaRue then. I was
like, but as good as you know the Karate Kid cast is, they're no Winchesters. I'm sorry.
They're not as easy on the eye.
I'm not saying that at all.
Shallow.
I can't help it if I have the emotional depth of a puddle. Although, then again, in Burton, the emotional depth of a puddle, you could probably fucking drown in it.
Yeah.
Is that a pothole or a swimming pool? Yes.
Yeah. Thought I might get my armbands out.
But right then, I suppose that moves us on to tonight's subject.
Is it tonight's subject or is it November's subject?
It's November's subject for the whole month of November. We are covering Retrovember, as we're calling it over here. For the next 4 weeks, we are going to...
That was my idea.
Well, your idea to do the retro thing, yes.
Yes, no, it was my idea to call it Retrovember.
Yes, my idea for doing a retro thing, and your idea to call it Retrovember. So it was a joint venture. It's when 2 tits come together, you get a nice bit of cleavage. She says, hopefully 6 months from now. Anyway. Yes, so for the next 4 weeks, we are going to talk about retro films, retro TV shows, retro cartoons, and to round it off, retro video games. So, kicking it off straight away.
And it doesn't have to be geeky. We are throwing the doors open on
the doors are wide open. There is no decade specific, no genre specific. We're just talking about the only rule we had was it had to be before the year 2000 because we're into 2024 and people are starting to say, oh, PlayStation 2, that's retro gaming. No, it's not. Retro gaming is Super Nintendo and around that era.
My fucking ass, it ain't.
PS2 is classic gaming, not retro.
On my house, it's 1986.
If you go back to Tony's generation, it's Pong. And they were like, wow, those graphics are so realistic.
Nah, Tony's a bit old for Pong. It was after his time. Woo! Ooh. Chip to the boomwood.
Yes. But kicking it off straight away, we are going to jump in with our top picks for some retro movies. And like we said, not genre specific, although I kind of look back at my choices and I'm going, yeah, most of these are fucking horror. So, but that's just me. I love good classic horror. So when it comes to retro films, my brain automatically goes to things like Hammer horror, because for me they are classic.
Sorry.
It's fine. Sorry, continue. But I'm going to throw it over to you first, Guy. Give us one of.
Are we going in any particular order or just?
Well, looking at mine, I was going to go in chronological order, so sort of furthest back in time release up to
right. Okay.
Days release.
Okay. So the furthest back in time release I have. Right. Well. I'm a musician, as you all know, so I guess you knew there was going to be a concept film, because of course it fucking was. So we're going to talk about The Song Remains the Same, Led Zeppelin's epic filming of their live performance in the 73 tour, I want to say, at Madison Square Garden.
Yes, I have seen that. It's very good.
It's fucking marvelous, it's over.
Yeah.
Because as well as obviously the obvious concert footage you get, which the music is just fucking fabulous because it's Zeppelin. They were the best. Don't argue, they fucking were.
I'm in full agreement with you.
No, I was talking to the audience there. Or if you want to disagree, you know where to go.
In the comments.
Yeah. So yeah, there is also the individual members' fantasy sequences that were filmed as well, just because it's the 70s and that's kind of what you did. And
well, I mean,
cocaine was a hell of a drug.
Beatles, Yellow Submarine, same kind of concept.
Yeah, I did near that.
But cartoon.
That nearly went on my list, actually.
I wouldn't have blamed you on that one. I remember watching that with my dad. My dad was a big Beatles fan. Sorry, tangent people. My dad was a big Beatles fan. So whenever anything Beatles related came on the TV, we had to watch it. It had to go on. So, yeah.
That rule is the same in this house.
Okay.
So yeah, that's got to go on there because, quite frankly, it was fucking brilliant and it blew a young me's mind.
Yeah. Which,
how could a band be this good and stretch out their songs so much and improvise and just go off on musical tangents in the middle of songs and then come straight back all together, boom.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's famously, like, I think it was at Woodstock. I can't remember the band. I'm very bad with music, but didn't someone sort of end up playing a 3-hour version of the song because they forgot how it ended? Or is that just like an urban legend kind of thing? Like, you're up on stage, you're at Woodstock, you forget how the song ends. Let's just keep playing.
Sounds like the Grateful Dead.
To be honest, most of their fans wouldn't have noticed the difference.
No.
They were like, "Well, man, this song seems to be like going on forever." They said that after 2 minutes.
Piss myself. Waiting for the middle eight. Whoa. But yeah, so that's got to go on there. So I think it's your turn now.
Good choice for a retro film there. Well, for me, we're going to go all the way back to 1931. So, round about the same time that Tony celebrated his 21st.
Yeah.
And it is, of course, the classic Dracula starring Bela Lugosi.
Ooh, that's nice.
Absolute classic, black and white.
Christopher Lee.
I was actually going to say,
who said that?
For me, right, choice-wise, if you're going to double bill it, I would say the Lugosi. Are you okay there?
Yeah, I'm having a cat emergency. So.
If you're going
Hold
to
on.
double bill it, I would say go with Lugosi's Dracula, followed up by Christopher Lee's Dracula, and then debate with your friends to see who you think is better.
Yeah,
It's always a good debate. But for me, that is just
that's true. You
a
want to be on?
film at this point that is 93 years old,
Mm,
still gives you a bit of
yeah,
a chill, a bit of a vibe. Like you
the
kind of
fizz.
feel really uneasy watching it. And there's Hendrix reporting from the field.
Yes. If you wait patiently, he'll probably show you his head. Get off the get off the laptop, boy. Jesus. Oh, you're
Calico Productions bringing whole new meanings to Pussy's Gone Wild.
yeah.
But yes, Dracula, the Bela Lugosi film. Early days of cinema. They were still trying to figure out how long films should be, all that kind of stuff.
Mm,
I will say, because it was shot in black and white, that was the film of the time.
yeah.
They used light and shadow with the black and white in the film to brilliant effect to give it that creepy
Yeah.
vibe and atmosphere. And if you've never seen that version of Dracula, honestly, like I was one of those people for many years. It's like, oh, it's old, it's black and white, it doesn't interest me. And then I watched it, and I changed my fucking tune because it's that good, and it kind of kick-started the whole Universal monster craze.
Yeah.
Because of that, we got Frankenstein, the Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, all those ones we now consider absolute cinema masterpieces.
Yeah.
Kind of where it started.
Yeah.
So if you're talking a good old retro film to watch around about this time of year, Dracula, 1931, starring Bela Lugosi. Go check it out.
Definitely.
Your next pick, then, Guy.
Oh, well, if I could see my list, but there's a cat on it. So hold on a sec. Right. Sorry about that, folks.
That's your choice. Cats by Andrew Lloyd Webber.
Not in this lifetime.
Not after that CGI bullshit, what the fuck nightmare fuel fest that come out a couple of years back.
No, I'm just not. I've never been interested. I can't stand Andrew Lloyd Webber and his oeuvre. Not even Catch. No.
No freaking.
So, okay. Right. So, in chronological order, we go to a bit of. Well, we're going to have a bit of action, folks, because it's me and I like a bit of shooty, bang, bang action. We're going to go with Who Dares Wins from, I believe, 1983.
I couldn't check it. I don't have my my Googletron up at the moment.
But bloody fantastic British film starring Lewis Collins, Edward Woodward, Richard Widmark. Oh, that bloody lady. I can't remember her name. Shit.
Sorry, I'm trying not to laugh because when you said Edward Woodward, it reminded me of an old Joe Pasquale joke.
Iwa.
Yes. If you take all the D's out of his name, it becomes Iwa Woo-Wah.
I love Joe Pasquale. You could tell me I've got cancer and I'd be fine with that little voice. It's in your lip there. All right.
Yeah, sorry for the tangent there, but yeah, as soon as you said the name, that was just, oh no, don't crack. Anyway,
but no, if you want a bit of nuclear paranoia, Reds Under the Bed type thing, because it was that sort of age. Terrorists are hiding in plain sight in a peace protestful group, and they take over the American the American embassy, and they want a nuclear weapon firing at the base in Scotland called Holy Loch to show what a nuclear bomb can do. Just one. Lewis Collins stars as Peter Skellen, the SAS captain who is tasked to infiltrate the group and try and stop them. It's a marvelous bloody film. It's a bit of gritty 80s action. It's bloody great. I can't recommend it enough. It's one of my
I
favourites.
think I may have seen the title sounds familiar, so I probably have seen. It's probably one of those ones that my parents were watching, and I inadvertently ended up watching it as well.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't my choice, but oh, it's interesting. There's people getting shot. Of course, I'm going to watch.
Mm. It was great because the copy I had was taped off of TV and had a bit of the end of Day of the Jackal because that was on before.
Oh,
I was like, hey,
oh, I remember that back in the
it's
day.
the Edward Fox getting shot.
Back in the day when you used to set a timer on your
Yeah,
VCR recorder, and you'd always catch like the arse end of like Coronation Street or fucking something.
Yeah.
Which, you know.
Retrovember, folks.
Yes. Talking
But,
retro
no,
stuff,
that's
VCRs, recording films off the TV. Most of these I watched were recorded off of the TV.
Yeah.
So,
That's what we did.
yes, this is why it's Retrovember, because it's like everything about our memories with this doesn't exist no more.
Yeah.
Right,
Like having to.
my choice.
Yes.
Yeah, excuse me, I am still dealing with a sore throat and a bad chest. It's that time of year, I get them every fucking year without fail. But up next, from 1971, so a good jump of some 40 years,
Yeah.
starring the absolute legend that is Vincent Price.
Yeah.
One of my favorite performances of his. Get my words out.
Performance.
Performances.
So we edit that bit.
Shut up. I'm entirely with it today. You know why. Anyway, it was one of my favorite performances of his because he knows it's just a daft, wacky horror movie. And he plays the villain. He plays the villain in this so fucking brilliantly, so over the top. But the crux of the character is he can't talk. He uses synthesizers to talk. So he's doing all of this performance with
carry on.
a synthesized version of his voice, but he doesn't well, he emotes slightly, but he doesn't ever talk properly. Like his mouth never moves. So you've got this very weird performance coming from him where he's doing the facial expressions to match the voice, but he isn't opening his mouth.
Yeah.
And it kind of gives you this uneasy feeling. But the film is called The Abominable Dr. Phibes. Dyslexia. But anyway, the general plot is that he supposedly died in a car crash racing home to his wife, who he heard that died, blames the doctors that supposedly killed her because they were incompetent, according to him. And it's about him going out and getting revenge. And one of the kills that I can remember, because it was just like, really, is he drills a hole through a ceiling, puts this hose into it, and slowly drips this green gunk down onto this woman's face. Then he releases a bunch of locusts into the room that proceed to eat her face while she's asleep. It's weird as fuck. But for me, like I said, it's one of my favorite performances of his because he knows what it is. It's just a fun little movie and he hams it up in certain scenes. Like he eats by sticking this fork thing in his neck, and it's so over the top. His movements and everything, it comes across very robotic, and it's like, it's just one of the reasons why I fell in love with Vincent Price. I saw this at an early age, and it got me hooked on him as an actor. That, along with House of Wax, which is another an honorable mention there to go along with that one. But yeah, if you've never seen that one, go check it out. It is worth a watch. Just for his performance alone.
Marvelous.
So then, your next choice, guy.
Right, my next choice. So, full disclosure, folks, I didn't actually do any research today. Because, well, to be honest, it's a book I'm reading. I got to a really good bit and I kind of sacked off the research for the book. Anyway, So I don't know the years for the following choices, so fuck it. So next we're going to go for a bit of good old British comedy with that there John Cleese and the marvelous bloody classic Clockwise.
Yes, yes. I've only ever seen that once, so I can't say too much about it because I was like this tall.
Yeah.
So I don't really remember much about it. So go on, guy, give us the spiel.
Well, so John Cleese plays a headmaster of a public school. No, sorry, not a public school. A Commonwealth Garden comprehensive school has got into the big guild of headmasters, which a comprehensive school has never got into before.
I'm remembering bits now. Now you're talking about it, I'm remembering bits.
So, of course, he's got to go off and do his big speech to all these toffs. But, of course, on the way, all sorts of mishaps occur because it's John Cleese and it bloody would, wouldn't it?
Of course.
He misses his train. He ends up stealing a car by accident.
Yes.
And taking one of his sixth formers with him because she can drive the car and he's not insured too. And just absolute carnage occurs on the way to trying to get to this thing. And a great thing about the film is bloke who used to go to my dad's pubs, in it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, he said about it. He's in it, and he's said, and we're all like, "Yeah, all right, but whatever." Man. He goes, "No, Strum, I'm in it." I used to play chess with John Cleese, lovely bloke. So apparently, John Cleese, top bloke.
Oh, fair enough.
And we're all going, "Yeah, all right, mate, pull the other one." And then watch the film, and it's like, "Fucking me, there is Bernard." He's one of the extras in it. He's one of the headmasters. And it's like,
awesome.
You can't miss him because he's like 6'7". We're all like,
oh, that's awesome. That's a cute little connection you've got to that film. That's awesome.
Oh, fuck me. Okay, wow.
That's awesome. I love that
So
little
we're all
connection there. That's cool.
You're like, all right, fair enough, Bernard. Any apology.
Sure you are, mate. And then, oh, fuck, there he is. Look. Oh,
yeah, so shit. I mean, that's like, bloody hell, Margaret. He's in it. Look. So, yeah, this is just one of those just great British films with loads of people you've seen in all sorts of different stuff. And you just go, oh, wow.
To be fair, most of the stuff that I've seen John Cleese in over the years has always been comedy-wise, at the very least, fucking off the hook.
Yeah.
It really has. You know, Faulty Towers alone.
Yeah, wow.
Doesn't really fly much with some of the woke brigade in this generation, but honestly,
oh shit,
I take it for what it is, product of its time, and I still sit there and watch that and laugh my fucking ass off.
Yeah, funny's funny. Don't matter.
Don't mention the war. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. You started it. No, you did. You invaded Poland.
Yeah, brilliant. But yeah, if you like a good sort of chase about, oh my god, everything's gone to shit kind of movie, it's perfect. Get it watched.
It's the epitome of it's the sort of film that's the epitome of if it can go wrong, it will go wrong.
Yeah, and there's lots of cliche going, right, okay, right. The way he does.
I think that's kind of almost inadvertently become his catchphrase. Not the word, the way he says it.
Yeah. Right.
Right.
So there you go.
On to my next pick then, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, jumping forward just a mere 2 years from my last pick to 1973, starring Peter Cushing with a supporting role from Christopher Lee. It is The Creeping Flesh. Now, this is a Hammer horror classic. Now, if you've never seen this one, the general plot of it is Peter Cushing plays I think he's an archaeologist. I think because he messes around with genetics and stuff as well. But he's basically a scientist. He's been on an archaeological dig where they discovered that certain depth below the earth there was a skeleton of what they considered a giant of a man, if you consider a giant of a man about 10 feet tall.
Yeah.
But it's discovered by accident that if you spill water on these bones, they grow skin. And then he starts to take blood samples from this skin, and he experiments on a monkey, he experiments on his own daughter. Christopher Lee plays his brother-in-law who runs the local asylum, who he starts running tests on people there. But then someone tries to steal the skeleton. It escapes during a thunderstorm where it gets absolutely covered in rain. And yeah, it is a horror. It is a full-on horror. And I watched this one again on VHS. It was recorded from TV.
Yeah.
And I loved it because it took itself very seriously. But because of its age, the time it was made, and certain things, there are some moments that are kind of inadvertently funny because of, the different, given how old the film is. But it's still, if you like those good, classic, creepy Hammer horror films, not the more campy ones, I mean the ones that were made to be straight up horror films, this is one of the better ones because it does things in stages. It builds up to a very, very good climax of a film. Like you're not quite sure where everything's going to go, and then there's a twist right at the end, and you go, "Wait, what? Wait." So if you've never seen it, again,
I've not.
Check if you can find it, guys. Because I don't think it's streaming anywhere. But if you can find it, it is well worth a watch. Purely for Christopher Lee being a not bad guy, but not quite good guy either.
When's he going to be a good guy?
Exactly. Like he's introduced as a good guy, but just in pure Christopher Lee fashion, just the way he talks and moves and portrays the character that he is. It's like, you're going to be a cunt come the end of this film, aren't you? And lo and behold. Yeah. But yeah, if you've not seen that, highly recommend that one. One of Cushing's better performances, I'd say. Not his best, but one of his better ones.
Yeah. So there you go.
There we go. On to your next pick, Guy.
Right. We're still in the late 80s, perhaps early 90s, I want to say. But we're talking, of course, we need a bit of wartime action, don't we, folks?
Pew, 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 pew.
No!
I don't know why the gun's got two triggers. I don't know what gun I'm shooting. It's got two triggers.
One of them two trigger guns, that is.
Anyway.
Memphis Bloody Bell, that's what we're on about.
Oh my God.
Found it.
Do you know what, right? That was one of those films way back in the day when I was a kid. My sister rented this from a video shop. And she kind of told me the general premise of it. And I was like, really? That does not sound like something I want to watch. I could not have been more wrong. It was heartfelt. There was action. There was drama. You wanted to cry at parts of it. You wanted to scream at other parts. It was, yeah.
Surely I don't need to explain the plot because, come on, folks, it's Memphis Bloody Bell. But funny enough, I also know someone who's in that film.
Fucking hell. You hobnobbing with Hollywood tonight.
Hardly. He's a trombonist and he's playing in the band where Clay gets up and does a tune.
Yes.
And you do see him, he's the trombone player. And he's a trombone player in real life, like Graham. And he's there, you see him for a couple of seconds. He's sat on front row. He's got his trombone.
Oh, that's awesome.
So of course, there's me and my mum and dad going, hey, bloody hell, look, there's Graham. Hey.
Oh, that's super cute.
Is this why I'm picking these films? Could be. But no, what a great film. Pathos, action, humor, all of it. It's got everything.
Yeah.
I want to watch it again.
I think I may have to track it down. It's been a hot minute since I watched it.
Same.
Really has. So I think Now, again, like I said earlier, with the Winchester Boys journey over for me, I have a lot more free time again now. So I think
Yeah.
watching some of the films off this list might be
Yeah.
a must.
And we also recommend you not watch them as well.
If you've not seen them, check them out too.
Tony.
Yes, Tony. But right, my next choice then. This is my number.
Yes.
You'll probably agree with me on this one. It is hands down the best parody of a sci-fi movie absolutely ever made, ever.
Ever.
Yeah, ever.
Ever.
And all I have to say is two simple little words. Space balls.
Yeah.
Just the absolute epitome of a parody. And not just a parody of Star Wars, but kind of pop culture in general of that time period. Like,
Yeah.
so many little jokes that if you know what they're referencing are even more funny. You know, like Spaceball, when they do the Spaceballs, the merchandise, right?
Yeah.
Yogurt. Spaceballs, the flamethrower. Spaceballs, the frisbee. Spaceballs, the t-shirts. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was a wink, wink, nudge, nudge at George Lucas, who famously said they can't make any merchandise of that because it's too similar to Star Wars, and he would sue if they did. So, I mean,
come on, George.
To be fair, though, I have seen a fair few people out there customize the old Luke Skywalker figure with the lightsaber in the arm.
Yeah.
Into the
Lone Star.
Yes, Lone Star into him, and I'm like, you know what? That kind of works. I'd love to see someone do a Chewbacca into Bath, played brilliantly by the late great John fucking Candy.
Yes, but the whole film is just fucking perfect.
Yeah, it's got just the fourth wall breaks as well, where it's like, what is this in the movie? This is now.
Yeah, we can rent the film.
It's the latest technology. You can rent the film while it's still being made.
That bit where he goes crashing into the front of the ship is like, forward past that bit. Forward past that bit.
I love that where they go to ludicrous speed and it's like they've gone to plaid. I love
speed. Go.
Rick Moranis in that film.
Oh, it's just is. I think it's his best ever role.
For me, when it comes to Rick Moranis, right, a lot of people say Louis Tully in Ghostbusters. For me, it's Spaceballs tied very, very closely with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
That counts for me every time.
But yeah, Spaceballs. Not going to cover the plot too much because if you've not seen Spaceballs, Tony, then you should go and watch it, Tony.
I think he has. I think he's seen it.
Well, hopefully you have.
It's my favourite Mel Brooks film.
Oh, yeah. Mel Brooks has done some good ones. Blazing Saddles, which probably wouldn't fly too well again today. But that and Spaceballs. Oh, and okay, make it a trilogy, Young Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Just because Gene Wilder.
Uncle Gene.
He's my spirit animal, I swear to God. But anyway, yeah, so that was my pick. Oh, and I forgot to mention that was from 1987. Nice.
Right, so my last pick.
Your last pick of the night, yeah.
Because we have the rule of 5 here, folks. You know this. So it's not one film. It's a 3 film.
It's a trilogy.
It's the trilogy. It's naked bloody good, it is.
Oh, fucking hell. Do you know what, right? I was one of those people who I grew up watching the Naked Gun films. I never realized it was a spin-off from a TV show.
Yeah, I used to watch a TV show.
Because I'm old enough to remember when Comedy Central first launched. And Comedy Central had South Park. But that was about the only new show they had. So they had to show some old comedy shows around it, like Cheers, Frasier, and Police Squad. or from the files of Police Squad.
No, it's called Police Squad.
Yeah, and it wasn't until I started seeing this I was like, oh, so that, so yeah, it double whammy there because it's 3 films and a TV show, and yeah, and again, yeah, come on, you go with it, guy.
Just perfect. Just Leslie Nielsen is just such a genius comic actor.
He was, and I think what really worked for Leslie Nielsen, in my opinion, is when you watch him in something like Forbidden Planet, which was a semi-serious sci-fi movie, where he played the captain of the ship that landed on the Forbidden Planet, and he's very straight-laced the whole time, and carrying that over into the Naked Gun films, it definitely worked. That deadpan delivery where he is absolutely serious, 100% conviction in what he's fucking saying, but what he's saying is the most outlandish, ludicrous bullshit you've ever heard, or the misinterpretation. One of my favorite jokes from it is they go to speak to someone who works in a sex shop, and she goes, "Is this some kind of bust?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, but that's not what we're here for."
Yeah,
it's jokes like that.
Well, what's it? I practice safe sex, and they both got like full body length condoms on, cuddling each other really awkwardly.
Another joke from that where they kiss and she lifts one foot up, then he does it. Then she lifts her other foot up, and then he does it, and they're both just sort of suspended there, and it's like, and that's what I love about those films. It's they're not afraid to lean into the absurdity of things. It reminds me very much of Airplane.
Yeah, it's that same.
Lean into that absurdist comedy angle of it. Like, how far can you take it before it just becomes stupid? And then it pulls it back round. Just as it's getting like, what? It pulls it back round with a nice old punchline. And you're like, yeah.
But the secret of that is just to deliver it serious.
Oh, yeah.
That just makes it funnier.
It's as they say, deadpan. It's almost deadpan comedy. Like, he's saying it's so serious, but everyone else around him just.
I mean, okay, you've got O.J. Simpson in them, which I suppose is now problematic.
It was problematic at the time, to be fair.
Yeah, probably. So, but I don't know. All 3 are great as well. There's no dip. There's no dip in the standard of it, I don't think.
I will say the second one is my favorite.
The
third one, I liked it, but I feel there was a bit of a gap between 2 and 3, and some of the jokes landed for me, but not all of them in the third one. Whereas the first 2, it was just on point every time. So, but maybe that's just me.
Could be. But
yeah, in full agreement. Brilliant trilogy.
Christ, you know. And
I watched them not too long ago, and yeah, they are still just as funny as they used to be.
But it's even the theme tune to it just takes you to that place.
With the flashing light driving through everything. That's another thing that was absurdist about it as well, was the amount of things that thing would drive through.
Yeah.
I think it was the second one where it comes out of a pregnant woman and it's driving the hospital fucking room chasing the doctors and everything. They're like, Again, absurdist comedy. It's kind of baked into that film, and I love it.
So yeah, there you go.
Good choices there, guy.
That is my 5.
That is your 5. Well, let's get it on with my 5th and final pick. Kind of spieling on from a couple of weeks ago. This is actually a remake, although I do like the original, but this one for me, I prefer it a little bit more because it's just that bit gorier, and I'm a gorehound. So it is from 1988, and it is the Blob remake. Yes. Which has kind of got more and more of a cult following in more recent years. Its special effects are absolutely fantastic. I've watched deep dives on YouTube that go into how they did some of the stuff, and
how they got that pink and yellow spotted costume is just beyond me. Blobby.
Not that blob. Although You know what? Right now, you said that I would love to see a horror movie starring Mr. Blobby, Mr. Blobby's Bloody Massacre. It's Mr.
Yeah.
Blobby going around with a chainsaw, you know.
Mm, yeah, who's up first? Edmonds.
Noel's House Massacre. Oh,
Oh,
oh.
look, your bottom really is crinkly now.
Yes. Do you know what? I'm going to write that as a fucking fan fiction.
Nice.
Mr. Blobby's going around slaughtering everyone in fucking Noel's house party. Sammy the Shammy.
Grab a grand. Not anymore. You ain't grabbing shit. Take your hands away.
Grab a grenade, fuck that. Grab a grenade and hope for the best.
Yeah. Blubby, blubby, blubby.
Blobby, bloody, blobby. Okay, we've tangented way too far there.
Yeah, huge tangent. Huge tangent.
But yes, the Blob remake, if you've never seen it, it's very, very good. Like I like with a remake, it keeps just enough of the original there, but brings a lot of new stuff in and mixes things up. Like one of the big misdirections in it is you think the person that's going to be the main kind of hero dude in it gets ceremoniously and very violently dissolved by the Blob in full view of the fucking camera and everything within the first like 20 minutes. So yeah, it definitely flips expectations. Young Shawnee Smith, who went on to star later in life in the Saw franchise, is very, very good in that film.
Oh my god, of course it is.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was one of those actresses when like when the name popped up, I was watching Stephen King's The Stand because she was in that. And I was like, I know that name. What have I seen them in? So I, Wikipedia being my friend, quickly checked out her filmography and I was like, the Blob remake, that's where I know her from. And then again later watching the Saw films, I was like, oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Oh. So yeah. Brilliant film. If you've never seen it, definitely worth checking out. Just for the special effects alone, and perfect example of a remake done perfectly well. The Blob remake.
Marvelous. I guess that leaves us with honourable mention.
Honourable mentions, yes. My honourable mentions are going to be. I'm going to go back to another Vincent Price movie. And that is House of Wax, because I mentioned it earlier. That is one of my honorable mentions. Because, again, it's Vincent Price being Vincent fucking Price. It's just, you cannot go wrong with that.
He's the governor.
Yeah. And another honorable mention that I will go with is a film called Dracula Unbound. No, not Dracula Unbound, sorry. Frankenstein Unbound.
I was going to say.
Yes. Stars Tim Curry.
Nice.
And John Hurt. And it's about a time traveler who goes back in time to meet Mary Shelley because Frankenstein is one of his favorite books, but inadvertently ends up finding out that it's all true. It's all based on actual things that actually happened. And one of the cool effects in that is for the Frankenstein's eye makeup, they use contact lenses where it's actually different colored eyes stitched together to show that it's gone beyond just bodies together. It's actual pieces as well. And they're proud of that because that was the poster art for the fucking film. When the character shows up in the film, they zoom right in on the eye so you can see all that detail and it works. It's a very good film. You've not seen it?
No, I fancy that.
I think it was one of Hammer's, because it is technically a Hammer film, but I think it's kind of mid-80s Hammer when they were starting to lean away from horror because they had the heyday in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. But it is, if you've never seen it, very, very good. And Tim Curry playing Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah.
That's Tim Curry. Man could read a fucking phone book and I'd still listen.
Too right.
So... But that's my honourable mentions then. Off to you guys.
Right, so my honourable mentions are The Breakfast Club. Because it's fucking iconic.
Don't you forget it.
Yeah, baby. And the remake of Day of the Jackal called Jackal, starring Bruce Willis.
Oh, the Jackal, yes, with Bruce Willis. I have seen that one.
It's marvellous.
The bit I remember from that is when he's doing the spray paint thing on the van. He's washing it.
Yeah.
That's the one scene I can remember from that film at the minute. But yes.
The one scene where he happens to be shirtless.
I did not remember that.
Yes, you fucking did, you lie.
Don't give away all my secrets.
I'm getting you on all the time, for God's sake. But yes, Breakfast Club, what can you say? Classic 80s Brat Pack, brilliant.
Yes.
Jackal is a great update on the Day of the Jackal, which was also a bloody good film.
Yes.
And weirdly enough, is going to be remade again. It's coming on to Sky in a serial starring Eddie Redmayne. I've seen the trailer.
Oh, yes.
bloody good.
I saw you mention something about this on Facebook the other day.
Yeah. And yeah, it looks really good.
Might
So,
go check it out.
yeah, check it out, folks, if you've got the Sky.
If you've
So,
got the Sky Net TV, yes.
but yeah, so yeah, that's my two honourable mentions.
Well, there we go then. I think that kind of about does it for this episode for tonight. The first
It does.
dip into Retrovember.
Retrovember.
I'm going to flash big text up on the screen for Retrovember. Every time we say it,
I'm glad I'm glad you said big text after Flash.
well, give it time. Anyway, yes, but up next week, we'll obviously be talking retro TV. So if there's any going forward, so you guys can kind of jump in front of us on this one in the comments section. Not only can you mention your retro films and stuff that you liked, but also tell us your retro TV shows coming up for next week, because that might give us a bit more to talk about.
Plus the fact, I want to see if any of them pick any of the same as us.
Yes, that would be, see which picks we get that would be the same. Yeah. So that's a challenge to the audience this week. Mention your retro films, tell us your retro TV shows. We might talk about them next week.
The only podcast that gives you homework, folks.
Yeah. But anyway, I have been that bitch Calista Valentine. He has been the Random Man, and we will.
I've been a random man.
Yeah, and we will.
Fatty boom boom.
See, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Adios.